can you tell if a person is giving a valid argument? One thing to look at is what fallacies are being used to present their point. A fallacy is a reasoning trick that an author might use while trying to persuade you to accept a conclusion. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, but regardless, they are all tricks trying to pretend that they are valid reasons. One of the most commonly used fallacies used on anonymous sites of the internet is the ad hominem. It is an attack or an insult on the person rather than directly addressing the person's reasons. This includes statements like, "Are you an idiot? You must have a brain the size of a pea." Or even, "What an idiot. You actually believe this? You're a moron," or maybe it's because you are blonde, girl, black, or whatever other crude remark that can be thought of in that moment. It is generally very clear to see this type of fallacy because the remark is made about the person himself. Now, sometimes a person can distort the opponent's view so that it is easy to attack. Thus, he attacks a point of view that does not truly exist. When this happens, we call it the straw person. This can be shown largely in politics and religion. One example could be a non-Catholic commenting, "Catholics worship the Virgin Mary like God. I thought she was supposed to be a mere mortal," when in fact Catholics simply admire and honor Mary as the Mother of God. But distorting this view makes Catholicism an easier mark for ridicule. People also tend to feel better about making an argument if they feel that other people agree with their viewpoint. In this case, a common fallacy is ad populum, also known as the appeal to popularity. In this case, an attempt is made to justify a claim by appealing to sentiments that large groups of people have in common. It falsely assumes that anything favored by a large group is desirable. Sometimes this can lead to a type of mob mentality, and individuality is crushed beneath peer pressure. At a party, a common fallacy may be, "You should drink some of this because everyone drinks at parties." This is a fallacy because it makes it seem that the majority of people agree with this point of view. Sometimes people appeal to emotions. This is the use of an emotionally charged language to distract readers and listeners from relevant reasons and evidence. Common emotions appealed to are fear, hope, patriotism, and pity and sympathy. Adolf Hitler was extraordinarily good at using this fallacy to convince thousands of people to follow him. He used the emotions of the people at the time who were economically and psychologically down at the end of World War I to give these speeches that were based off more emotion than fact. He gave the people a scapegoat to place all their troubles and gave them hope that he could make the world better for them. Hitler was very good at making this fallacy work for him without giving the people any solid reasons. Another fallacy that plays on people's fears is the slippery slope. In this fallacy, one makes the assumption that a proposed step will set off an uncontrollable chain of undesirable events, when procedures actually exist to prevent such a chain of events from occurring. This fallacy was part of how the prohibition laws came to be, in part. Some had argued that allowing alcohol to stay legal would lead to alcoholism, which would lead to domestic abuse from drunken fathers and husbands, which would then lead to the societal dilemma with broken families and homes. A very slippery slope indeed. Sometimes one assumes there are only two alternatives when there are, in fact, more than two. This is called the either-or fallacy, or also it's called the false dilemma. In this type of fallacy, there is only a wrong or right answer. Typically, when this fallacy is used, one of the choices sounds like it leads to a horrible consequences, and the other makes the world seem right. An example of this would be, you can either work really hard and get a higher level education degree and become somebody, or you can take the easy way out and drop out and become a lazy bum for the rest of your life. This presents two choices. One, stay in school and become successful, or two, drop out and become a failure. But there are many people who do not complete higher education and yet are successful due to their innovative thinking. And there are some who complete school only to fail later on in life due to other reasons. Lastly is the fallacy red herring. In this case, an irrelevant topic is presented to divert attention from the original issue to help win an argument by shifting attention away from the argument and to a different issue. The fallacy sequence goes like this. Step 1. Topic A is being discussed. Step 2. Topic B is introduced as though it is relevant to A, but it really is not. And then step 3, topic A is abandoned and forgotten. This fallacy was demonstrated well in the cartoon A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. There is a character named Red Herring who constantly distracted the gang from the true culprit. Largely, the red herring fallacy is meant to distract attention away from the issue at hand. All these fallacies are meant to convince people to sway one way or another without true valid reasons. But by no means is this a complete list of all the fallacies out there, but these are some of the more commonly used ones. Now, you too can keep a lookout for these fallacies when someone is trying to convince you of something.